Hey guys, Beery here. I always like to give sort of the backstory of a new listing that comes out because I think it gives a lot of value to the actual property itself. And of course, you as the buyers want to know, hey, who owns it and how long have they had it and why are they selling it? Why should I be buying it? So I get it. So this is for the Turkey Creek 18 units in Alachua, Florida, which is like 10 minutes north of Gainesville. And what's really interesting about this property starting right off the bat is the owner itself. You look this guy up on Google, it's amazing. Unbelievable decorated military background. To me, the owner of a property can sometimes add value to the property itself because when you hear about the kind of character and background of the person, you know the property itself was well maintained, and that's certainly the case in one of these. So I'm going to refer to my notes real quick. He went to West Point for engineering, then he went to the Army as an artillery officer in command in the US, Europe, and Vietnam. He served in various capacities with the United States Secretary of Defense. He was an assistant for the National Security Affairs for a senator. And then from 81 to 89, President Reagan himself had nominated and brought him on to be the Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for the Manpower and Reserve Affairs Division. He later founded the George Washington National Bank. He's on the board of trustees for the Institute of World Politics. He's on the board of a bunch of other different nonprofits. But what's cool is he's a Gainesville and Alachua native. His father was actually a home builder here for a very, very long time in the area, built hundreds of homes over the course of like 40 years. And the father was actually one of the developers of Turkey Creek, the subdivision this property is in. So you can see why these properties are probably pretty well taken care of. And not to mention that when you go to contract on them, probably not the kind of guy you want to mess around with when you're under contract. So it's super rare in itself for any type of multifamily units to come available in an actual subdivision, not to mention a golf course community like this. So Turkey Creek was built back in the 1970s. Now it's primarily today made up of like $300,000 to $600,000 houses. I think the average is somewhere in the $350,000 to $400,000 range. You can see in the package a little more stats about how many homes. I actually even have a couple of videos there sort of going over the golf course in a drone. I have a local realtor in residential who also talks a little bit about the homes in the community. That's all in the package you'll be able to see. There also are some condos and townhomes in there as well. Over 1,000 houses in this place. I mean, really, really great subdivision. Now, Turkey Creek is also backs up to the San Falasco Preserve, which just Google it. I also have some information on the marketing package. Unbelievable place. I mean, just tons and tons of acreage. The bike trails are literally world renowned. People come in from all over the place just to race on off-roads and the bikes there. Great walking trails. Sometimes there's horses out there. Beautiful and just a steps away from this area. Also, right up the road is Progress Corporate Park, which is an unbelievable bioscience and technology place. There's a bunch of incredible companies, some publicly traded and national, some local. A lot of University of Florida companies have been spun off and are sort of born and continue to breed there. Really great place, like 1,200 employees that are on campus, and this is just right down the road. There's also San Falasco Tech City, which is absolutely exploded by a local developer, Mitch Glazer, here in town. 300,000 square feet of new and existing companies. There's a preschool. There's homes being built, a few select apartments. There's walking and jogging trails. Beautiful. Again, look it up in the marketing package. I've got some links to go check all that out. Okay, so let me give you some quick stats on the actual offering itself. So the owner actually built 7 of the 9 duplexes himself that are in this offering, and then he's been the owner of the other 2 duplexes since 2017. Now, the reason this owner is looking to sell is they're looking to retire, and they're going to redirect the capital into some alternative sources, a little less intensive than owning and managing real estate, as you can imagine. Now, these units are fully occupied, and they stay fully occupied. Average in-place rent is about $1,650 a month, and it's actually about $150 to $200 a month below market because of the quality of these units. Every single one of the units has a 2-car garage. Not every duplex has a 2-car. One unit has a 2-car garage, and then next to that unit is a 2-car garage, and then 2 spaces out front for all the 2 bedrooms. The 3 bedrooms have a 1-car garage and a space out in front of that. Now, there are 14 of the 2-bedroom, 2 baths, and there's 4 of the 3-bedroom, 2 baths, and they're all pretty darn good size, as you can see. Now, 2 of the duplexes were built in 1999, and all the rest of them were built between 2004 and 2014. So why should you buy it? So let me tell you about some of the value add potential of this. But I mean, besides it being a great performance investment as it is with the rents that are in place, and it's always 100% occupied. When I say 100%, like nobody moves out because their rent is a little bit lower than what it should be. You also have a few value add potentials. Number one, there's garage conversions. I mean, listen, having a 2-car garage is awesome, but if you really wanted to take the rents to the next level, because you have outside parking outside the garage, you could convert those garages. The 2 bedrooms could become 3 bedrooms. The 3 bedrooms could become 4 bedrooms. Frankly, I'd probably add maybe a den or something like that, or an extra living space for the 3 bedrooms. So that's one possibility. The other one is, this is a big one. This is more on the back end when you go to sell it. I know you can subdivide each of these duplexes onto their own parcel. I've spoke with local city planning and an engineer. It's basically a minor subdivision something. I don't know, I can connect you with the engineer. But as an exit plan, you can parcel off each of these duplexes individually and sell the duplexes individually, which sell for way more money than an actual combined investment, because you have a lot of house hackers, especially in this community where the average sale price is so high. It's a really high barrier to entry. So this allows a homeowner to actually buy it, move into one unit, rent out the other unit, and practically live for free. And those folks will typically pay a good bit more than an investor would pay for them all. And since it's only 9 duplexes, the sellout period would be relatively quickly on the back end. The other value add part of this is simply the fact that you're buying it for below replacement costs. And that's not oftentimes the case. To rebuild something like this would be considerably more, especially when you buy the land in a community like this. And the other value add potential, of course, is the rents in itself. Even if you didn't do garage conversions or anything like that, there is potential to continue to update the interior of the units. I mean, within the 2 bedrooms themselves, there are a number of units that are getting $1,750 already, and the exact same units are getting $1,600. So just by natural progression on renewals, you can take them up $150 without doing any kind of updates and getting that extra $200 a month. He has replaced 3 of the 9 roofs already. The others are getting older, so you might want to consider that. His last couple of roofs were done for about $16,000 each, so you can consider that into your offering as you're looking at this. Obviously, we've already priced this asset with consideration that the rest of the roofs do need to be done. And I do want to point out there are 0 leaks with any of the roofs. I'm just speaking in terms of, I know how insurance companies are today. And once you start getting 15, 20 years old, they're going to want to see that replaced at some point after closing. The preference is to sell all 18 units to one owner, and anyone who offers on all 18 units at one time will be given preference. If in the rare chance that just doesn't happen, or we can't come to a meeting of the minds on price and terms, we may entertain selling individual parcels instead. Okay, so let's discuss management. Currently, the owner has a resident living in one of the units who for $1,000 a month is managing the asset. You can continue to use that person. The normal rent for that unit is $1,750, so the actual person is paying $750. In the rent roll, I show $1,750 because that is the value of that asset. If you don't want to use that person to continue to manage, no problem. You can certainly bring in third-party management. All right, that's it. Hopefully that was very helpful to you. Make sure you read the full marketing package, because in there are specific instructions on what I need from you in order to do a tour, or when you submit an offer as well. All right, guys, thanks. See you on the next one.